Hello everyone, welcome. This is a little bit late, but this is a set that I did right before Halloween and unfortunately did not have time to get it uploaded before Halloween happened because I had done a bunch of manis and was trying to get all the videos edited and was just not quick enough. So this one is getting uploaded after Halloween, but that is just fine because these are colors that can be used at any time of year. Even though they are Halloween themed dips, it is actually a Hocus Pocus trio, and this first one is called Mary. It is a beautiful glitter, and this one is called Sarah, and the last one is called Winifred. So it is named after the Sanderson sisters from the Hocus Pocus movies. Anyway, this is my very first time trying Color My World dips, and these are their odorless dip liquids that I ordered when I got the Sip and Dip Color My World collab set. You had the option of ordering it with dip liquids, and that's what I chose to do because I wanted to try their odorless liquids. As I have mentioned many times in my videos, I do get dip flu, and my go-to is always my 𝕔𝕙𝕒𝕟𝕟𝕟𝕟𝕟 odorless liquids, but you know, I thought it'd be cool to try a new company. I'd heard good things about these liquids, so that's what we're gonna do in this one. I love the bottles. I love that the activator bottle is clear, and I love that they have instructions on the back. They all have swiper inserts, and they're nice weighted glass bottles, which I absolutely love. And I noticed that the consistency of most odorless base liquids is a little bit thicker, just slightly thicker than a regular dip base, but I don't mind that at all. And this one is no exception. But it does go on nice and smooth. I had absolutely no issues with the viscosity or the consistency of this dip base. What I will say is that it is a bit slower drying even than most other low odor bases that I've tried. I've tried Sparkle & Co. I've tried Triple D. I've tried 𝕔𝕙𝕒𝕟𝕟𝕟𝕟. 𝕔𝕙𝕒𝕟𝕟𝕟 is my favorite. And it has a really nice, I would even say medium dry time. It's not even that slow of a dry time. So, but Color My World, this liquid right here, it is a slower drying liquid. I had to wait a good amount of time between dips before I could brush off the excess powder. So that is just something to note when and if you decide to try these liquids. That is not, that is not a deal breaker for me. It's just something that I need to remember when I am applying them. So what I will also mention is, so what I'm applying right now is the thermal changer called Sarah, and it has some glitter in it, but it's a triple thermal. It changes from pink to purple to almost a black, and it is gorgeous and extremely sensitive, as you could see as I put it on my nails. One thing I will say about it though is it is very sheer, so you'll want to do at least 2 dips, maybe 3, depending on how opaque you want it to be. But the liquids are really nice. There was absolutely no odor. I don't know if you noticed, but I put the bottle to my nose. I did a sniff test, and I smelled almost nothing. There was very little odor at all, if any, and didn't notice it at all while I was dipping. So that's good news. The other nice thing about a slower drying base liquid is it gives you a lot of time to clean up the cuticles, so you get a much cleaner application, in my humble opinion. So anyway, I did go ahead and do 3 dips of 𝕎𝕼. I did the third one off camera. And now I'm going to dip into 𝕤𝕝, which is this gorgeous glitter, which is sort of it's got some purple, some, I want to say magenta, and some brown maybe. It's a really beautiful mix. And the colors go really well with, as you can see right next to 𝕎𝕼. It is a gorgeous combination. But of course I had to use all 3 glitters, right? All 3 of these gorgeous colors had to go on my nails. So I am doing 2 dips of 𝕤𝕝, but right now, while 𝕤𝕝 dries, the first layer of 𝕤𝕝 dries, I'm going to go in with my first dip of Winifred, which is a chunkier glitter. It's a gorgeous glitter mix as well. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pour over. And then while that's drying, I'll do my second dip of 𝕤𝕝, I believe. And then I will do I'll lay my finger flat into the chunky glitter. And we'll finish that up. And then I'm going to do a free edge chunky glitter ombre on. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me explain this while I'm finishing this up. I initially did an ombre on my index finger, and I ended up hating it. I hated it. And the reason is that ever since my last gel allergy reaction, whatever you want to call it, my psoriasis, which I have on my nail beds, it flared up terribly. And my index finger especially isn't looking so hot. And I wanted to cover it up because the bottom half of the nail was going to be sheer. I was going to be using a sheer pink. And, well, it showed too much where the nail separates from the nail bed, and I was feeling a little self-conscious about that. So I made the glitter ombre come down a little bit lower than I like. So what you're going to see in a little bit, I actually ended up popping that off and switching it up and doing the full glitter nail on my index finger and then the ombre on my middle finger. So you're going to see that happen. I kind of did some editing and switched up the footage of doing the ombre. So you're going to see the ombre happening on my middle finger. See, right now it's got the full coverage nail on my middle finger, but when I go to do the ombre, it's going to switch, and you're going to probably notice that. So I figured I'd mention it. At the end, when I'm top coating, it's going to go back to having the ombre on my index finger, but then at the end, it'll be the actual end result. I hope that I am not confusing all of you with all these words, but I think you will understand what I mean when you see it happen. So that being said, I'm going to stop talking for a moment. I'm going to take a breath, and when I come back, we'll do the free edge ombre, and I will talk you through that. Okay, here is the moment I was talking about. See now? See, here's where I'm going to do the free edge glitter ombre on my middle finger. So I have at this point put in some footage from after I popped off the index finger ombre, and which you haven't seen yet because I didn't show that, but I did show the full coverage nail on the middle finger, which is no longer where it is. It is now on my index finger, as you can see. So I've applied a layer of dip base. I'm not going to belabor that point anymore. But now I'm going to take my fan brush and I am going to tap the glitter from my free edge toward the center of the nail, concentrating the bulk of the glitter towards the free edge and then letting it fade out toward the center of the nail. I believe I do end up doing some glitter placements because I did not end up getting as many of the larger glitters in this mix on there as I wanted. And that is always something that you can do if you do the tap ombre with the glitter and you realize that you don't have all of the glitters that you want. You can always go back in and do a glitter placement. That's easy enough to do, and it doesn't generally make the nail much thicker. You can also, this is also another thing that's really nice about having a slower drying dip base, is that you have time to move glitters around, place them where you want them, get rid of them where you don't, which was what you saw me doing there with my cuticle cleanup tool. And now you're going to see me pour over. This is pink glass from Vivid Glam Co. And it is an incredibly sheer, almost clear, with a tint of pink in it. It is one of my favorite dips to use when doing a negative space color block. And then I just poured over with my clear dip powder tool on the rest of the nail just to absorb some of that extra dip liquid that was left over. And now I'm going in with my second layer of this glitter, and this is just to ensure that I have full enough coverage at the tip and that I get some more of those chunky glitters in there. And yeah, so I'm going to press those down carefully, make sure they don't go anywhere. And then I am going to make sure that I don't have any stray glitters where I don't want them, and then do a quick glitter placement to make sure I have glitters where I do want them. When I'm done being finicky, I am going to do another pour over using my dip stick from 𝕵𝕝𝕟𝕟𝕟𝕟𝕟 to apply the clear dip powder. I only did one layer of the pink glass because I didn't want there to be too much of a pink tint to the clear part of my nail. So I did one pour over of the pink glass, and then I did a pour over of regular clear dip powder over that. And then I'm going to encapsulate everything, and I'm going to activate. Obviously, as I always do, I'm going to file and shape everything off camera. I'm going to finish all of this up, and when I come back, I'm going to do some top coat, and we're going to talk about my thoughts and how I really feel about these liquids and these powders, and we'll wrap everything up. right, and with a little bit of editing magic, here we are, all shaped, filed, buffed, ready for top coat. Will you just look at that thermal? It is so pretty. It is so sensitive. Literally, it looked like I had ombre nails the entire time that I wore this powder. It was gorgeous. And look at those glitters. Mary and Winifred are stunning, stunning glitter mixes. Love, love, love. Yes, those are my true feelings. I love everything about these dip powders. They were easy to apply, gorgeous to wear, and I have no complaints whatsoever. Now, let's talk about these dip liquids. I like them. I will use them again. Are they my absolute favorite low odor dip liquids? I have to say no, and that is only because they are so slow drying. You really do have to wait a good amount of time before you can dust off the excess powder, or you're going to risk wiping off your entire, it'll just make a mess. And so I highly recommend that if you decide to use these, that you really wait a good few minutes before you brush off. But that's the only reason. There was no smell. I had no dip flu after I used them. The consistency is lovely. And I absolutely love the way everything applied. And the top coat, as you're going to see when I am finished and in the pictures at the end, very shiny. For a low odor top coat, it's beautiful. Again, slow drying. You have to let a low odor dip top coat dry for at least 10 minutes. At least 10 minutes before you even touch it or try to put on cuticle oil or anything else. I highly recommend that you just sit there for 10 minutes and don't move because it really does take that long for it to dry. Now, is it worth it? Yes, because you don't get dip flu from it, and the shine is stunning. It's beautiful. So no complaints, honestly. The only drawback is the dry time, but that's going to be true for almost every low odor top coat that you use. And here you can see it is beautiful. It is shiny. Look at that. Look at that. That thermal, I think the thermal is my favorite. But, you know, I'm a sucker for thermals and glows and UV changers and all those things. So I'm kind of partial to that stuff. So I'm going to apply my cuticle oil. And I'm just going to say, you know, I think I'm going to buy more products from this company. I really did enjoy using them. I do also want to mention that this is not a paid promotional video. I was not sent any of these items. I paid for everything with my own money. So these are my true and honest feelings, which, I mean, I do even, you know, no matter what, I always give my true and honest opinions on products when I use them. I am not going to try to tell you to use something that I wouldn't personally use myself. That's just not me. So when I tell you that I really like these products, I really do. So would I recommend them? Yes, absolutely. I highly recommend this company. I like the liquids. I like the powders. So far, everything is gorgeous and stunning, and I had absolutely no issues. I wore this mani for an entire week, and I loved wearing it. I got so many compliments, and I couldn't stop staring at my nails. As always, I appreciate you being here. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to hit that like button. That will help me know to continue creating content like this for you. And it also helps YouTube recommend me to others. So I'd appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye now.